Hey, I'm Randy Younger, New York City's go to film enthusiast. Every week, I dive deep into the world of cinema with special guests from the New York City film scene. Whether I'm interviewing industry insiders or comparing the latest releases, there's always something for every movie lover. Join me as I explore the magic of film and discover what makes these movies unforgettable. Hey guys, I'm Randy Younger in a special episode of Under the Radar, bringing movies and people together one frame at a time. And look at this amazing panel I have here tonight of guest critics. This is wonderful as always. Right here, Mr. Ernest Salick. Welcome back, Ernest.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Anytime, anytime. Spent the whole day together watching movies, and here we are about to dive deep into a filmmaker's career, a wonderful filmmaker. But before we mention him, I want to mention Mr. Chris Clemente. Chris, welcome back.
Yeah, hey, how's it going, guys?
Good to see you. Good to see you. And back again for what's been a while, Mr. Max Keller. Hey, Max, how's it going?
I am doing great and very thankful that you invited me to talk about one of my favorite filmmakers and one of his movies.
Awesome, awesome. Well, we're going to be talking about more than just one. And that
Uh,
filmmaker that Max was just mentioning is Paul Thomas Anderson, or P.T. Anderson. And he is a fantastic filmmaker. He comes back out with a movie every couple of years. And, some are met with varying success. Some are much better than others. He basically started in 1993 with a short film called Cigarettes and Coffee, which was the inspiration for Hard Eight in 1996. But before we get into his career a bit, I want to talk about his latest entry, and that is the new film One Battle After Another. And this is a crazy film. You could just call it a crime thriller western, maybe. There's some western elements in there. And you've got a great cast here. You can't go wrong. You got Leonardo DiCaprio, Sean Penn, Benicio del Toro, Regina Hall, Teyana Taylor, and Chase Infinity in her first film role, if I'm not mistaken. And everybody brings something special to the table. This movie it's wonderful. It clocks in at just under 3 hours. But for me, it flew by. I don't know about you gentlemen, but I kind of wanted a little bit more. I want a little more tightening there. But we do have a quality film here in One Battle, and I love anything that Leo does. He's one of my favorite actors.
Yeah.
And
right.
P.T. Anderson, he really pulled out all the stops here, and there are just some great shots, and there's some great visual language going on. A fantastic soundtrack, not just the score, but the song choice. Again, the performances are top notch, and the story is very interesting. I was along for the ride here. But yeah, enough from me. Let's hear from everybody else here. We got this wonderful panel. Ernest, I want to hear what your thoughts are on this wonderful film.
Yeah, so I went to see the movie Cold Open. Actually didn't know that Sean Penn and Benicio del
Oh,
Toro
really?
were in the
That's
movie.
funny.
Well, it was just an extra treat. I, like you, agree. The cast is one of its strong points.
Mm.
Also, it's one of the more original movies I've seen this year, with in terms of its plot and its story sequence. I think it's shot very well.
Yes.
There's a certain flair about it. If you see any of Paul Anderson's movies, you know that it's like a running theme through some of his movies that there's colorful language, interesting, brisk
Yes.
dialogue, not unlike Quentin Tarantino, Chris, right?
Yeah.
And there was some strong points here, and I think that its originality, its cast, its soundtrack, the cinematography is really just the things that get it across. I enjoyed the movie. I really did. I don't want to really spoil anything for anyone who hasn't seen it. The movie's critically acclaimed. That's one of the reasons that I wanted to see it. I'm very thirsty for a top tier cinema these days, especially, right? So my overall thoughts were, while I enjoyed the first act and the second act of the movie, I think the third act was not as strong, unfortunately, just for me
Oh,
personally. I think it's good. I think what is there, it ends on a good note, I'll say. But the flair, the style, and the charisma of the first act and the second act, just for me, didn't carry over into the final act as strong.
Mm.
And for me, that's really the only thing missing from the movie. I do think the movie's a bit long
Yeah.
for what it is. I do agree with Randy that the pacing is very brisk and tight. So it's not that necessarily that it drags, but when the movie's all over, I just felt that the point it tried to get across could have been done so in maybe like 20 or 30 minutes less than it actually was.
Interesting.
You know what I mean? I don't
Yeah.
think the movie is good enough to justify the length.
Yeah, it could have used a little more tightening.
I think so. Just me personally.
And I wanted to see more of certain actors, especially Leo. I think he had a fantastic chase sequence in the heart of the city,
Mhm.
in the second, in the middle, like really right in the middle. There's a great scene of him just running throughout
Yeah.
the city. I don't want to give anything away, obviously. Yeah.
Right, because the movie's
Um,
relatively new.
But like, yeah, I thought the pacing was decent. It could have been a little bit better. And I wanted more from certain characters, from
Mhm.
certain actors.
When Leo did appear on the screen,
Yeah.
he was the magnet.
Yeah.
So I felt like Paul Anderson knew exactly what he was doing with Leo's character. And even though Leo's character had to share screen time with so many other characters going through their own stories and plot points,
Right.
every time we came back to Leo, it was just like a natural snapback.
Yeah.
He didn't feel out of place. The movie doesn't feel abrupt. It flows very well.
Right.
I just feel like the final act didn't clutch the same gravitas as the first and second act, which really pulled me in.
Well put.
You know?
But yeah, but overall, I think the flow was very strong.
Yeah, I think it's a good movie.
Yeah.
I think it's a good movie.
Max, I haven't seen you in a while. I'm curious what your take was on the film.
Honestly, for me, I've been feeling like 2025 was a really just an interesting year as far as films were concerned. Like, there were a few ones I liked. Sinners was good. I liked Presence, even though you could sort of call that 2024. Splitsville is good. And honestly, as the year was going on, I was just like, okay, can I just have a movie that I'm proud to say I love? And honestly, when this was over, I was just like so ecstatic because this movie was too amazing in my eyes. Like, I just loved so much of the creativity and like all the ideas it wanted to address, how it decided to go as far as it could with like some of the concepts. Definitely the originality is part, but what I find interesting is how it sort of takes types of storylines that you could say we've seen before, with like this film essentially being a father-daughter story and like some other stuff with like the antagonists. But what makes it work, honestly, is how it's willing to address these ideas. It's how it's like putting different spins on it and like using it to actually say something. Like, I love that. Ernest, you mentioned the cinematography. I thought the cinematography was amazing. I saw this in IMAX 70 millimeter, and
That's a treat.
yeah, no, and honestly, the third act, like, there's a scene in the third act. The people who've seen it know what I'm talking about, but it was like hypnotizing at that part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a great chase sequence on the highway, which I pointed this out to you after we left the
That's
theater.
probably what he's
Yeah,
saying.
yeah.
Yeah.
Where,
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
where it felt like you were going like on a roller coaster ride at some point.
Yeah.
I don't want to give it away, but it's so tempting to.
I know, it's like it's one of those movies that's really hard to talk about without like wanting to like expose everything
Right.
about it, honestly. Like,
Very
that's kind of
tempting.
what I love about it, is like there's so much I want to say, but I have to remember that I'm also like saying this to a crowd of people that may or may not have seen the movie.
And I want to just mention the cinematography by the great Michael Bauman, who actually did
What's that?
Licorice Pizza. So
Oh, wow.
that makes a lot of sense.
Mm.
I don't remember the cinematography in that movie to be so great, but he definitely again he pulls out the stops here as well. So I mean, again, the visual language in this film is so good
Mhm.
and so memorable. But Chris, how about you, sir? I know you have a hot take on this.
Oh my God. I'm right there with everyone. This is the reason why I love cinema. This
Nice.
movie defines why I'm so enamored and why I really long for movies like this. I miss just having a nice thrill, thought-provoking, original concept presented on the big screen, and PTA, pulls out all the punches in this one. And it's just riveting, and it's just going on all cylinders. Performances are fantastic. I really enjoyed that. Yes, like Leo's performance and character was the heavy of this movie, but there was a large portion of the movie that we don't really see him because he's kind of lost on the highway a little bit, not to give away too much. but it kind of allowed more breathing room for other actors and performances to come across. For my money's worth, I think the best performance was Sean Penn. Like he
Yeah,
just played
definitely for me.
such a slimy character that like he's such a villainous, skeeving
Yeah.
villain that like he as you were just rooting for his demise, you know, if it ever came. So it was just it was just fantastic performances all around. And I for one, Ernest, I kind of disagree with you in a little bit where I felt like the ending was a great crescendo. I felt like I didn't realize how much of a slow burn the movie would be. Like in the trailers and the hype kind of presented itself as like just this action-packed, guns a-blazing type of movie. And it really becomes, yes, there is that in the film, but there's also large chunks where like it kind of lets the scenery chew a little bit, which I really enjoyed. But I felt like pacing. Man, talk about almost almost three hours
Yeah.
or so.
Yeah,
Close,
3 hours.
2:43.
Comparing it to like a Flowers of the Killer Moon, like where I felt like I was like, just like wrestling my shaky leg syndrome a little bit. Whereas this movie, I felt like it just breezed by, and it's a testament of just great editing. And if that's where cinema is also heading, where we want to get more bang for the audience buck and have 3 4 hour movie time frames, we need to invest more in editing. And I think PTA and his crew did a great job with this. It flew by, and it was just a great story. And yeah, I mean, this is definitely going to be on my top 10 by the end of the year. So
Nice.
yeah.
Same. I think this is my
Loved it.
top five, maybe top three, dare I say?
Yeah.
But the film, it doesn't try to reinvent the wheel.
Mhm,
It just creates a different type of wheel.
mhm.
If that makes any sense. It's just a solid story,
Yeah.
and it's not like pretentious or whatever. It's just trying to tell a good, strong message of
Hmm.
a father and a daughter, basically, surviving and trying to reconcile with their past. And
Hmm.
Sean Penn was absolutely fantastic. I've never really seen him in a role like this. He was so mean, so evil and slimy. Um,
Hmm.
he,
But yeah, it's like a character you can also like sort of laugh at with the
yeah,
ridiculousness of it. Sorry
yeah,
to
he
cut
was
you
like a
off.
Yeah.
cartoon character, like he was off like a Rocky and Bullwinkle type of character. It was that
Yeah.
crazy? And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Licorice Pizza, I believe he was in that as well, and he was also
Yeah, he was
a slimy type of character too.
kind of, yeah, with like
So
how he treated Lana Heim's character. Yeah.
yeah, so he's basically, I mean, dare I say he's getting typecast here? I don't
No,
know. I don't,
no.
no, but
No,
he
no.
definitely steals
You
the
can't
show here.
you can't typecast Penn now.
He's already got 2 Oscars. He's fine.
Well, they also wanted him to be Superman. Remember that in the '90s? The
There
Oh,
was a
really?
point.
Wait.
Yeah,
There
at
was
one
a point.
point,
Yeah, yeah.
Kevin Smith was talking. But anyway, that's neither here nor there.
Hmm.
And yeah, he was fantastic in this, Chris. I totally agree.
It's a good surprise. I had no clue about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, I wanted more Benicio del Toro.
Yeah.
Honestly, I
Yeah.
think he was fantastic.
Yeah. He was so cool. I love just he was just like he was a guy you definitely wanted to have some beers with, like the sensei. Like I
Absolutely.
love that.
That's
Yeah.
Very honorable character. And then
Yeah, yeah.
he has his own karate dojo, which they
Yeah.
teach and preach honor. It coincides
Yeah.
well.
Yeah, like you could have a spin-off TV series just him.
I would be interested.
Call it the
Yeah.
same.
I would be interested.
Yeah, that'd be
And
cool.
that's the cool part. Like you get a sense that there's so much backstory to his character
I
that
agree.
we did not get to. That kind of just was like that undercurrent to the scenes that he was in. So
Yeah.
totally
That's one
agree.
of the
Yeah.
things I do love about the film is like the thought that's brought to like each and every character, where it's like you could sort of look at like certain characters. It's like, okay, we see what you are, we see what you're trying to emulate, but honestly, it's like everyone feels so three-dimensional. And we were even talking about Sean Penn before. It's like it would be so easy for like that character to be like, oh, just a big bad government bad guy, but it's like then you like see like the complexities within him. You could also see that in DiCaprio's character, who is much more incompetent in the second act of the film, but also you kind of like see like where he has been like There's like an interaction between him and Chase Infinity near like the beginning of their introductions that I absolutely love, honestly, just for like how the relationship sort of changes, honestly.
No, I caught that as
Yeah.
well. Like, for example, in the beginning, she referred to Leo's character as Bob. Didn't call him
Yeah.
Yeah,
dad, father,
exactly.
and such. But in the end, no spoilers again, it's very much driven home.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
They are basically strangers, but I hope that's
yeah.
um
An actress that or an actor I really wanted to see more of was Regina Hall's character.
yes.
Honestly, a little
I've
bit me
been
too.
a fan of hers for years, you know, like Scary Movie and all that. But I feel like she really got her due diligence in this film, like
Yeah.
her real dramatic acting chops, which she did a fantastic job in. But I would have loved to seen a little bit more with her.
I know
Agreed.
I've only really known her for her comedic stuff, so this is
Yeah,
refreshing to see her in this.
Roll
But
down.
yeah,
yeah.
totally agree with you, Chris, that she
Yeah.
needed more screen time for sure.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
you would think with a movie that's almost 3 hours, they could have squeezed her in a little bit more, but
It's funny.
yeah, that's a little bit of a criticism on my part as well. But yeah, this film is great.
Yeah.
Definitely top three for me. And
And
yeah,
we got to talk about score a little bit,
uh-oh.
Randy, since you're the score guy.
Yes, Johnny Greenwood's score is
Um,
so good.
That is good.
like it's funny, Randy, the last time we were on the show together, we were talking about highest to lowest, and for
Yes.
me, this not so much the soundtrack in that movie, but the score in the beginning part of the movie was really obtrusive. It was really like glaring, and it really got me out of the film. But this score was so simple,
Mhm.
but so
Yeah.
impactful. It was just, it almost reminded me of like Jaws, you know, like just the piano, you know,
Yes.
just little intricacies that, you know, in the little flirters that they put in. Oh man, it was just the perfect balance. It just really got, you know, the motion going for each scene and
Yeah,
yeah,
it carried the film very well, the instrumental. And I think
yeah,
the instrumental score
yeah.
kind of intertwined with the actual songs, the song track.
Hmm.
It
Hmm.
was just a
Hmm.
great balance of like instrumental and lyrical.
Mm.
And it
Hmm.
really it helped the story very, very much. Johnny Greenwood is credited as who did the music. He's actually the lead guitarist and keyboardist of Radiohead. So
Yeah.
only he was
Huh,
heavily involved in the film's music. So that's pretty
Mm.
cool.
Okay.
really cool.
I will say, as a Radiohead fan, I've heard like a lot of like things of like, oh, how they were inspired by this artist and this type of music. And what I found interesting was compared to Johnny Greenwood's other scores in other PTA movies like There Will Be Blood and The Master, it's like, okay, this sounds like a weird instrumental track from a Radiohead album, where this feels way too similar to everything I've heard Radiohead was inspired by, with like the chaoticness of it. Like, I think of that
Hmm.
scene in the apartment complex where it's like very jazzy, very experimental,
Hmm.
honestly. And
Hmm.
like, even though while the dialogue is still like, you could still like laugh at the dialogue or with the dialogue, whatever you want to say, it's like, I like how the music is like still doing this weird little thing that also kind of helps as like reminding you about the stakes the film has, honestly. So I don't know.
Hmm.
I'm too in love with this film.
Yeah,
Nice. I think you like the
same here.
movie, Max. I think you're a
How could you tell?
fan. So this film's great. I would even see it again, even
Mm.
though if I could carve out another 3 hours.
Give it another shot.
Yeah,
Maybe a second viewing will change my mind about the last act. But
indeed, indeed.
No.
And so I just wanted to switch gears a little bit and talk a little bit about Anderson's career overall.
Mhm.
Because Ernest and I, we just had the pleasure. Well, I had the pleasure. I think you sort of had the pleasure
Yeah. Oh, yes.
of seeing Hard Eight from 1996,
Hmm.
and this is actually
Mhm.
Anderson's first feature, and it's based off of a short film he did in '93 called Cigarettes and Coffee, and it's basically sort of a gambling crime thriller, and it stars has a very good cast actually. It's Philip Baker Hall, who most people know from his supporting performances. He was actually in Ghostbusters 2, The Rock. He was most famously probably the library cop, Bookman from Seinfeld. And in this movie, Hard Eight, he plays the main character, which I was very surprised by because he's usually supporting. Basically, he plays this very slick gambler who takes John C. Riley under his wing. he's like a homeless guy. He sees him on the street, so he basically enlists him to be part of his two-man crew. And basically, the two of them are kind of like hustlers, and they get involved with a waitress slash call girl played by Gwyneth Paltrow. And to make things even more complicated, they get involved with a local hood played by Samuel Jackson.
It's
And
another welcome surprise.
yes, yes. So you've got a
Mm.
fantastic cast of the four of these great actors in one movie, and I was with it for the whole ride. I really enjoyed it.
Mm.
But Ernest, you had other thoughts, real quick.
Well, I mean, for the time that I spent with, once again, I'm going to repeat myself, right? Great cast, good cinematography, even early back then. I guess, Paul just had a great eye for these things. I was enthralled by the lore, trying to figure out where we were going, this Sydney character and John, and then later Gwyneth Paltrow's character.
Yeah.
How will it all come together? What is the scheme in the end, really? And while I was enjoying the ride, I felt like at the end, when it was all over, I wanted more. I was left wanting more. I don't know. I wasn't just as fulfilled.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I felt like all the ingredients were there, the setting, the cast, the writing, the dialogue is very good. And again, colorful in certain places, which keeps my attention. I don't think it's a bad movie. I don't. But I don't know if it excelled enough for me towards the end. While I thought the reveal was interesting, the movie was already over after the reveal was
Yeah.
interesting. I wanted to see, more interactions and reactions for the reveal for those who haven't seen it, at the
Yeah.
end.
Sorry.
Yeah.
No, I think
Pretty much it.
because it's his first feature. He had a lot to prove, and I think he did an admirable job considering it was the first feature.
It kept my attention all the way through.
Yeah.
I just felt like I was left hanging at the end. I wanted more. I wanted to see what was going to happen after. I wanted to see what would transpire. And I felt like its best bit was at the end.
Okay.
Its best bit. But
Yeah,
just when it started getting going,
Yeah.
it was over.
See, that could have been an easy 2 hours, 42 minutes.
Yeah, I'd see 3 hours of
Because
this.
then there would be more time for character
Yeah.
development
Yeah.
and further along the story. Chris, I know you did not get a chance to see the film, but I know you're gonna really enjoy it. So
Yeah, and just hearing you guys talk about like it's tough. You hear a lot about like auteur directors and their first films, like and if their first film's their best film, then you can't regard their whole filmography then. So I think the only thing you can ask for in a great filmmaker's debut is just to see that glimpse of wow that you come to expect later on.
Right.
Like I've heard, people say like, oh, like Mean Streets was Scorsese's best. I'm like, how could you say that? Like he's built
Mhm.
like a career, like Goodfellas, and Wolf of Wall
Raging
Street
Bull,
and
yeah.
whatever have you. Like you gotta just expect that, you see something special for the first time. You see that lightning in a bottle, and you want to capture that over and over again. So.
Yeah.
If it's good enough to get your attention, then I would love to see it. Yeah.
I mean, hey, we're talking about it now, so
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean that's a
Yeah.
good sign.
Certainly.
Right?
Certainly.
Um,
I mean, it's definitely like an enjoyable film, honestly. It's not one of my favorite Paul Thomas Anderson films just because there are aspects of it that are a little messy. I rewatched the film a week ago and I was like, I don't know if John C. Reilly was the best fit for this character, honestly. Honestly, what I enjoy the most about Hard Eight is like how Paul Thomas Anderson was hoping to establish himself and how this feels the most like a taste of what we're gonna get. Like I think about like how he treats characters like Philip Baker Hall, how he handles like montages in some sequences, like even the introduction of the characters in the first shot, it's like, okay, this is clearly the type of filmmaker where this is the type of films he wants to make. This is the type of stuff he's influenced by and the type of energy he wants to convey through his art. And that's honestly what draws me in the most.
Yeah.
It's still an engaging story, honestly. And I do kind of like how different both halves of the film feel from each other, as vague as I can say. But I will say, like, Ernest, I kind of get what you're talking about, like, with, like, how he handled the ending and stuff.
And I think Anderson, and there's a lot of parallels between Anderson and Tarantino here. And I mean, I guess Tarantino would be considered the better filmmaker. That's probably a different episode, different topic. for another time.
What a
But
topic, a
yeah,
hell of a topic.
but
Yeah,
That I need to think
is a
about too
topic, you
much.
know.
yeah. And I just wanted to repeat that story you told us before we started recording because I
Oh,
love that story about
right,
Anderson and Tarantino.
right.
Ernest, if you would please.
So the way we speak about them, apparently they feel the same about each other. And when Quentin is not making movies, he's looking for Anderson's movies, and then when Anderson is like on the low end, he's looking for Quentin's movies.
Uh-huh.
So there's a story, if it's to be believed, from one of Paul's ex-girlfriends where she accompanied him to Quentin's house one evening, and they hung out and did a lot of, let's say, suggested stuff. And just we're watching each other's movies and then laughing and just critiquing each other's movies, like, like, oh, I love when you did this and this is glorious, this shot is glorious. Just, just
Mhm.
bromancing all night long. It might have even been why she left him.
Maybe. But I love that idea of two great filmmakers commenting on each other's work while
Definitely.
possibly being inebriated.
Yeah.
You know, to the influence, what have you.
Mhm.
And I think that's just a great visual, great story. So thank you, Ernest.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
So before we leave, I just wanted to mention some of the other Paul Thomas Anderson films. So obviously, Hard Eight
Hard
was his first feature. Then, of course, Boogie Nights.
Okay, Boogie Nights.
Yep.
Nights is a solid one, though I'm
Masterpiece.
not a huge Marky Mark fan, but that's neither here nor there.
That's okay.
Then we get Magnolia, which is probably one of his earlier moments of greatness, I'd say. Great
That's it.
performance from Tom Cruise there.
Hmm.
Next up, we have Punch Drunk Love,
Yeah.
which was, I think, the very first dramatic or dramedy role from Adam Sandler,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
really
Say that,
great.
yeah.
And that was back in 2002. He followed that up, wow, 5 years later. There's a 5-year gap between that and There Will Be Blood.
Ooh.
Fantastic film.
Wow.
Great movie.
One of the best.
Great movie, very
Yeah.
dark, very chaotic and crazy. Great performance from Daniel Day-Lewis. I think he won the Oscar for that, if I'm not mistaken.
He did, yeah.
He did.
I wouldn't be surprised there.
And that was followed by another 5-year gap here, The Master in 2012, which that's a movie that warrants repeat viewings, I think. But
Yeah, kind of.
I remember Joaquin Phoenix and Philip Seymour Hoffman giving fantastic performances in that.
Mhm.
Uh,
Fantastic.
Yes. Next up, 2 years later, we'd have Chris. You're gonna love this. Inherent Vice.
A head
Yeah.
scratcher for me.
Yeah.
The movie's
Yes.
a head scratcher.
Yes.
It's
Now, I want to just mention real quick that Inherent Vice was, I think that might have been the very first movie that Chris and I reviewed together, or I reviewed on a podcast format for.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that was in 2014, and I wanted so much more from that movie. Chris, you remember?
Yeah. No, I remember. I actually I saw the premiere of that. I saw QA with PTA and
Nice.
at the New York Film Festival too. I covered
Nice.
that back then. And I remember the audience just like cheering and like just standing ovations. And I was in my seat. I'm like, I have no idea what I just watched. Like, I just don't get this at all. And like, I remember like, I think out of all of his movies, that's probably the one that I watched the most just because I didn't understand it. I still don't
interesting.
understand it. I still don't understand
You're not the only
A
one.
decade later, more than a decade. That's crazy.
Yeah.
I don't think it's
Yeah.
you, Chris.
Okay.
I like that movie, but it's probably my least favorite PTA. But I still think
Yeah.
it's good, honestly. That's just how much I love this filmmaker.
Yeah.
I wanted
Yeah.
so much more. Like I was expecting like a really quality neo noir, but
Mhm.
it just totally did not go that way for me. So
Yeah.
very sad that transpired that way.
But we got great performances. I mean, I remember Joaquin Phoenix, but I remember a great performance by Martin Short, so yeah.
Oh, wow, yeah, okay. Wow. that's
All
really
right.
Yeah, he had a small bit in there, but it was impactful. Yeah, but like I can't tell you what that movie was about. Maybe it's because I wasn't, high or anything on it, like while I was watching. Maybe I should be,
cool.
or
Right?
some LSD or something, like the characters in the movie.
Right.
So maybe.
One Battle After Another, excuse me, is now in theaters. So everyone listening and watching right now, check it out if you're curious. I went in just for the star power and the director alone, but I was very, very, satisfied and borderline impressed, I'd say. So that's out in theaters now. And now that we have about a minute or two, I just want to go around if there's any plugs, if anyone has anything they want to talk about, any projects. Ernest, anything going on?
Well, not at the moment, but we'll see what the future holds. I might have a few things cooking.
Oh,
You know, I
sounds
just don't
good.
want to jinx anything.
Don't, yeah, hey, must not jinx the project.
Definitely not this year.
Yes. Max, how about you? Anything you want to mention?
I mean, I remember the first time I was on here, I kind of like gave my Letterboxd handle, and I am attending New York Film Festival, where I know I'm definitely going to be like giving a lot of like reviews of like the few movies I'm seeing there. So I guess I
Huh.
can plug that. The handle is just Max Keller with no space, capital M, capital sorry, K. I can't speak,
You're good.
but
You're good.
yeah, I guess
Uh,
that's what I want to plug.
nice. Always good to plug the letterbox. I love it. Letterbox accounts.
Thank you.
Yeah. Mr. Clemente, anything for you, sir?
Yeah, yeah. Thanks as always for highlighting our plugs. Yeah, I did some script reading for Austin Film Festival, which that's wrapping up. So at least the judging part. So
Huh.
that's going on later in October. So check out the Austin Film Festival. And I also just got a writing gig for a local newspaper called the Metroland Now up in the Capital Region of New
Oh,
York.
awesome.
Which is a great little circle moment for me because I used to read it a lot and I used to plan my weekends around, just the reviews that I would read in the paper. So I got my first assignments and so check it out, metrolandnow.com.
Beautiful.
That's
That's so
excellent.
cool, guys.
Yeah.
Come full
Yeah.
circle.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
love
it's full circle
it.
moment. Yeah, yeah.
Excellent. That's excellent.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Well, unfortunately, this is where we say goodbye. Or not goodbye, but I'll see you later.
Right.
Yes.
That
Um,
works.
yeah, but before we do that, I just want to remind people that they can check out Under the Radar through Slam Radio, through SiriusXM channel 145, also on Manhattan Neighborhood Network. That's where the video portion of this podcast lives, and that'll be brand new on Mondays at 11 a.m. So check that out. And as always, feel free to subscribe and share to the Under the Radar YouTube channel.
Hmm.
Subscribe and share the love. So, Ernest, Chris, and Max, I want to thank you so much tonight.
Thanks for having us.
This is
Honestly, this
incredible.
Yeah,
was
thank you. Thank you.
great.
This episode could have gone
Pleasure.
at least another 30 minutes, but
Easily.
yeah.
Easily.
But I think we said our piece. We said everything we needed to say for now.
Yeah.
So guys, I'm Randy Younger. This has been Under the Radar, bringing movies and people together one frame at a time. We'll see you next time. Take care.